Well, hey there, Mama, and welcome back to the Moms Overcoming Overwhelm podcast, episode number 140. I'm Emily McDermott, and I'm here beside you on this journey as we work together to declutter your home, head, and heart. As I mentioned before, I'm going to be taking a little bit of a break in July and August, and I will be providing you with some replays. Today is actually a replay remix with my episode with Lisa Lizotte from the Habits and Home Show, episode 35. And Lisa is a wife, mom to three, and cheerleader for anyone wanting to simplify their life so that they can enjoy it more. And after the intro song here, we're going to dive right into more about Lisa's story about how she became a minimalist and also how she married minimalism with habits, which was what got her into the mindset of reset. So, what do you say? Grab that notebook and pen and let's dive into today's conversation with Lisa Lizotte, remix style. Hey there, Mama. Are you tired of all the stuff crowding your home, calendar, and mind? Do you wish you could say goodbye to the endless to-do list running around in your head? Want to declutter but don't know where to start? You're in the right place. Welcome to Moms Overcoming Overwhelm, where you will find proven and practical solutions to declutter your home, head, and heart. Hi, I'm Emily, a wife, boy mom, and simplicity seeker. I struggled to get pregnant and felt overwhelmed until I discovered decluttering could create the physical and emotional space I needed to become a mom. Now, 2 kids later, I've transformed my life and motherhood by developing simple systems around decluttering, capsule wardrobes, kid stuff, cleaning and tidying, meal planning, time management, and more, and I can't wait to share them with you. If you're ready to reclaim the time and energy you crave, be present with your kids, and finally enjoy the life and motherhood you so deserve, let's kick overwhelm to the curb, shall we? Grab your lukewarm coffee, your notebook and pen, and clear up some counter space. Let's do this.
I remember like this time in 2013 when I was pregnant and my father passed away. And I had to declutter and go through his home and really it started opening my eyes that we were just tossing things that didn't matter to us. And I came home and I was looking at my house and I was like, none of this really matters. A lot of this in my home doesn't matter, but here I am spending my time picking it up and managing it and doing the thing. And so through that process of, cleaning out my parents' house, I, shifted over into minimalism, and I really didn't research. I didn't really even get on the internet that much back in the day, but I heard little bits and pieces. I even went to the library, like old fashioned, like go to the library,
Wow.
check out a book on minimalism, right? And I started slowly just getting rid of the things that were taking up my time. Like I was spending time managing those things. And I used to say my kids would had little droppings all over the house. They would drop things as they walked, drop, 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 drop. And I was spending my time picking up their little droppings, basically. And so that experience led me to minimalism. But no matter how little I owned, it still felt overwhelming until I learned about habits and habit stacking and routines. And I actually learned that through we moved out of our house, our 2,000 square foot house, and my husband stepped down from his pastoral position, and we didn't know where we wanted to live. So we were like, oh, let's just go live in an RV and travel around, an hour's radius of where my husband works, his new job, and we'll, have that lifestyle, that adventure. But I didn't realize it at the time going into it, that living in that tiny space would be the best thing forever. Like for my life, for my motherhood, for learning good life skills. Like we lived in this 300 square foot RV. It was a converted bus, and it didn't have slide outs. It didn't have a bunkhouse like you have these fifth wheels that have bunkhouse. No, it was like you had a hallway, and my kids slept on either side of the hallway on the couches, and we had a pull-out bed for the third one. And then our room was at the back, and thankfully we did have a washer and dryer. But we didn't have places to store clutter. We didn't have places to like leave dishes out on the counter or in the sink. Like we had to pick up as we went, or it would be pure chaos. So that is when my minimalism, the journey of becoming more minimalist, and the habits came in, and they basically married each other in my life. And when we moved out of our bus, a year and a half later, we moved into a big farmhouse, and it was like, okay, how do I apply what I learned in the bus to this huge house that I can just fill up with all the stuff? I didn't want to go back, and I was really digging my heels in the sand. I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so overwhelmed. And I learned to hold back. I learned to have like restrain. And I realized that I could create a cozy space that could function what was needed for my life without it being cluttered or filled up, or have all of the things that you see out in the world, that the things all over the kitchen counters, all the pretties, all the, decor. And I learned how to make it perfect for me, even in the larger space. And so we've been able to stay up on our laundry routine. The skills that we learned in the bus, we just applied them to now our bigger home, and I'm forever grateful for that.
I hope you really enjoyed Lisa's story there. She really has such a compelling story about how the death of her father and then moving into that RV shaped her thoughts about what was important, what was necessary, and knowing that you have to have a system around your stuff, and using those artificial boundaries, which we talk about a ton on the show here, can prevent that clutter creep. So now we are going to be getting into exactly what she does for her resets. And before we did, I just wanted to review some of the resets that I do that I love. I have a morning reset of my room. So that is making the bed, making sure that my vanity and everything is clear, that I take the load of laundry down with me to start the washing machine, and then also the kitchen when I'm done with breakfast and the kids are done, that everything's cleaned up and the dishwasher from the night before is unloaded. And then through the day, we have resets of rooms. Like, for example, before the kids can watch a show, they have to clean up any toys and make sure their rooms are clean, cleaning up my office area before I leave it for the night, those types of things. And also the evening reset of the kitchen, which is where I load the dishwasher and run it, clean off all the kitchen counters. And also part of my evening reset after the kids go to bed is to make sure that all the clean laundry has been put away, folded, etc., and that all the rooms are reset, books put away, all of that before going to bed. I don't want anything out that I can think about when I am asleep or trying to get to sleep. So Lisa is going to now share all of the resets that she uses in her home. I'll be sure to link to the checklist that she mentions in the show notes. So go ahead and check that out. And here she is.
Yes. So this is the number one habit that I have personally felt that's been life-changing for me. And it's really a mindset shift first, and then you develop this like desire to want to do. Okay. So our habits, whenever we want to establish a new habit, we have to have like this identity of who we want to be, what we want that thing to do for us. And so it creates this longing and desire in us of what the end goal is, what we're going, the reward that we're going to get from completing that habit on a daily basis. So I have this one life-changing habit that I do every day, and it is just resetting. And I started developing this habit and this mindset of reset by first starting with my kitchen sink and my kitchen counters, and just resetting my kitchen sink and my kitchen counters every single night. And I loved the reward that I got from that, because I was able to wake up the next morning, and it was a gift I gave myself every single morning. I wasn't giving myself sloppy leftovers from the day before. I was giving myself the gift of starting fresh every single day. And so when I would lay down at night and I would think about, oh, I didn't do my reset, or the dishes are still in the sink, okay, it's okay. I can do it more. Oh no. I was like jumping out of bed and running, getting in there. And I would even like do it even faster because I was like, well, I'm not letting this steal my free time in the evening. So I'm going to do this even faster. And so that is the one place where I started, or that I've been able to like put into practice, and it trickled on to other resets and this mindset of resetting. And so now I have this evening routine, which I also have a free checklist that if you want to print out my evening routine or my evening reset, or I give you a blank one that you can create your own. You can go to habitsandhome.com and grab that free checklist. And it's a daily reset checklist. And what I do is I picked 5 things. Any more than 5, it's too much for me. And I listed out 5 things that I want to reset, and I actually reset based on the flow, our evening flow. And something that I teach people is to set your home up in an assembly line fashion, like your routines, how you move throughout your house. Have a assembly line mentality about it, because what happens is we waste so much time and so much energy going from room to room, back and forth, like when we're cleaning. But restrain yourself from going to a different room, complete everything that is meant to be done in that room before you step out of that room. And people that have ADHD or have trouble focusing, this is extremely helpful for them. So for me, my evening reset follows the flow of our evening. Okay, we eat dinner, we reset the kitchen. We relax in the living room, then we reset the living room. Then we go into the bathroom and brush teeth before we go to bed. We reset the bathroom. Then we tuck our kids into bed. We take a quick moment to reset the bedroom. And then at night, when I'm laying down at night, I'm resetting my mind by just getting on my calendar, looking at what's on my list to do tomorrow, any places my kids need to go, preparing myself. So that's my like personal reset, is like I'm brain dumping any notes that I want to take, write down, any ideas that I have. And then it just frees me that I don't have anything else to do, and I'm able to like have my personal time. So I would say my number one habit that I encourage everyone to do is a reset. And on those lines, I think back of like where this, all these influences that led me to where I am now. And Charlotte Mason, she is an educator, and I love her. Homeschooling, that's someone that you typically will research. And I was also a public school educator, and so I've learned this as well. But she focused on habits and teaching kids habits, and like taking one habit, even like the habit of paying attention. Like we don't have those basic life skill habits, and just breaking it down to the microscopic tiniest of habits. And I loved what she taught. But then you also have another educator, which is Maria Montessori, who she says to reset the room before you leave. So y'all, look at how these two like educators in history have the habits that they're, saying, yes, teach your kids habits, learn habits, but then also reset the room to back where it's to its baseline, so that it's ready for the next person to come in. It's ready for you. You are giving yourself the gift of when you come back in the room, it's back to where where it started. And so I just love those two ideas of having the habit of reset.
Hopefully, that has motivated you to start your own mindset and habits of reset in your home. This last clip that I'm going to share, and I would invite you to listen to the entire conversation, which is episode 35, which I'll link in the show notes. But the last part of our conversation is about getting our families on board with resets, but then, of course, with anything, including decluttering. And episode 16, I talk about how to get your spouse on board. Episode 18, routine, how to get your kids on board. Also, there is an interview with Rachel Norman, episode 104, which is all about the habits that can empower our kids. So I love Lisa's take on this. I always also recommend starting with ourselves first, but she has some great ideas about how to get your family involved. So here she is.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely helpful to have a partner to help you, your spouse. And the biggest thing is communication. I always, and I'm sure that you encourage your clients as well, when you want to change anything, any routine, any habit, any lifestyle shift, you always start with you first. You always start. I know a lot of people, they get so excited, especially in like coaching or anything, or they listen to a podcast and they listen to this grand idea and they're like, okay, now we're going to do this. And they want everybody to get on board with their idea before they ever put it to practice first. And so I always say, start with something that you can do first and be consistent with it, because your family members are going to see your effort. They're going to see this change in you. They're going to see this peace that you are experiencing, because when you go into it trying to get the masses on board with you before you even establish like the roots or the foundation, you're going to end up being frustrated with them when they fail and when they don't do their part. And so I think really establishing that foundation with yourself, you're going to have so much more grace when you get them on board. And so I think communicating, first of all, telling your people, your family, what this thing is that you're going to do for you first, and don't even mention their involvement in it yet. Really say, I want to let you know that I want to be better. I want to feel better. And so right after kitchen, I'm going to do this thing, called an evening reset, a daily reset. And I'm going to, reset the kitchen. And if you want to help me and be a part of it, I would love for you to do that, and invite them and say how it's going to benefit you, how you're going to, get something out of this or get the peace that's going to come from this. And I always say, focus on yourself first, but then once you've established that and you feel good about that, I think our people want to help us. They really do want to love us and serve with us. So just give them, what do they say? You can catch more flies with honey than you can with vinegar. I think the way we talk and the way our tact that we use, if we can say it with sweetness, my husband says, he's like, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And I tend to be like a really straightforward person, but I've really had to learn how to like be calm, be sweeter, be more peaceful in the way I approach ideas, in the way I ask for things. So for instance, how I love how you said you're resetting the kitchen and then your husband is getting the kids ready for bed. And when my kids were little and they didn't really get themselves ready for bed, we did that. But then as the kids have gotten older, I have brought them into, hey, mama really wants to rest and watch TV or read a book after dinner too. So how about before you leave, let's all take care of what's ours. Okay. So we have this little routine right after dinner. You wash, dry, and put away. And that's our system for washing the dishes. We don't even use our dishwasher because that just takes too long. So I just fill up a soapy basin of water, and if they have a plate, if they have a cup, if they have a fork, it literally takes like maybe a minute after they eat. Before they leave, you got to catch your kids before they leave to wash, dry, and put it away. And you can really start them pretty young if you have like step ladder or, just get them into that habit. And now I would probably say 90 to 85% of the time, all the dishes that my kids use now, they take care of it, wash, dry, and put it away. And if they don't, if I catch them, I'll say, hey, who are you leaving that for? And they're like,
I like that.
oh, because it like they either say, hey, I'm leaving it for you, or I'm leaving it for myself to do later. And if they say I'm leaving it for myself to do later, I'm like, just take care of it right now. That way you're giving yourself a gift that you don't have to come back later. So if I don't catch them and I come home and the sink is full, I'm like, hey guys, there's some dishes in here that somebody left for me and I didn't do any of these. And they're like, oh yeah, that was me, mom. And I'm like, okay, come do them really quick. But it's just like, first of all, always say, start with yourself first. Get those roots and those foundations so that you're feeling good about yourself and your family can see the example that you're setting, and then slowly teach them new habits for them.
I hope that you loved this episode remix, something new I was trying out, and you will see some other replays and remixes this summer. I am going to be going down to 1 episode a week, so you will see those coming out on Thursdays, and I will resume my normal schedule of 2 episodes a week starting on Tuesday, August 20th. So be on the lookout for your regularly scheduled programming then. And in the meantime, I wish you a wonderful summer. You can head on over to the Facebook group, tinyurl.com/moms overcoming overwhelm if you want to connect with me there. And otherwise, I will see you in August. Bye for now. If you like today's podcast, here's what you can do. Just take 30 seconds to leave me a review. I know you're a busy mama. You're overwhelmed, in fact. But 30 seconds of your day makes such an impact. I'll be blessed by your words. They'll definitely make my day. And who knows, you might be entered for this month's giveaway. In Apple Podcasts, scroll down to write a review. Thanks so much for your time. I'm so grateful for you.